Hey, this is Kenneth Wong here, Senior Editor for Desktop Engineering magazine. Now that 3D printing is becoming more popular, there is also a higher demand for reality capture devices. What are these? We're talking about scanners that let you capture the shape and geometry of real-life objects so you can bring them into a computer software program for editing, analysis, and 3D modeling. One of those is Sense 3D scanner from Cubify. This is the consumer-friendly division of the professional 3D printer maker 3D Systems. It costs about $399 and it comes with a USB cord that plugs into a PC or a tablet. It's a handheld scanner operated at about 15 inches away from the target object. Once you have downloaded and installed the scanner software and driver, you're ready to go. Start scanning. Now the way the scanner works is, it needs to send out light beams to determine the location of the object and construct its shape as tiny point clusters. For that method to be effective, you should try placing the target object against a solid plain background. And you need a setup where you can go around the target object from different perspectives so you can capture its shape from all angles. Otherwise your scan will have holes and gaps. Now, if the background or the surrounding region of the target object has too many complex shapes and profiles, the scanner will have to work a lot harder to detect and build the 3D object, and in some cases it may have too much trouble. Because Sense works in conjunction with a computer or a tablet, you're going to need to bring that computer or the tablet that commands the device to somewhere close to the target object. And whenever your scanner is picking up something, what it's picking up is displayed on the computer or the tablet screen. So it involves a little bit of scanning and watching the screen. Sometimes the scanners say it lost track of the object. That is, it couldn't match up what it has scanned up to that point with what's now in front of it. That happens if you move the scanner a bit too jerkily around the object or move it a little too far from the object. The software suggests there is a way to realign the scanner vision with the object so the scanning can continue, but in my test I find it pretty impossible to realign. Once the device lost track, I just have to restart the scan. Now the software is pretty good at patching up the scan data because there is no way you can possibly get every single bit of information you need to construct the full picture of the object, so the software has to patch it up. And that's where the solidify command comes in. It does it for you automatically. If your scan happens to include nearby colors and shapes that you don't really want, you can also use the crop function to isolate what you want and trim the rest. Once you have done that, you've got a 3D model that you can import into a CAD program to refine, use it as the basis for a new design, or study it for refinement. You can also export it to a 3D printer or produce it as a miniature object. Sense is an easy-to-use scanner, straightforward, lightweight, and relatively affordable. For future versions, however, I'm hoping the product manager will consider a few suggestions for improvements. First, I think making the scanner independently operable would make it much more portable. If, for example, it can be powered by plugging into a wall outlet and can be operated without being attached to a computer or a tablet, with perhaps a built-in memory storage, I can then take the device to the beach or on a hiking trail or into a Golden Gate Park and scan objects without lugging a computer or a tablet around to do that. Now with a handheld device, it's inevitable that people's movement wouldn't allow a perfect arc when they are trying to capture the object from all different sides. So the scanner should have better algorithm for tracking objects based on edges, colors, and outlines. That way it could minimize the scanning glitches that comes from lost tracked scan failures. At $400 or nearly $400, my guess is early adopters and tech enthusiasts will have no trouble justifying the price because it strikes them as good value. But keep in mind, the device will have to compete with other software products, photogrammetry products, some of them are completely free, that lets you upload a bunch of photos taken from different angles to build a 3D object or a scene. So the device has stiff competition there that it needs to outdo. Well, that's my take on Cubify Sense, and I hope it makes sense to you. This is Kenneth Wong for Desktop Engineering Magazine.